International law attorney Jonathan Kuttab. He's joining us from Bethesda in Maryland. Jonathan, thank you for your time. What message do you think Donald Trump is trying to send here with these sanctions? Not, of course, the first time he sanctioned the ICC, but this time it's very much more pointed towards his ally Israel.
Well, there's two messages. The first is, of course, that he has no respect for international law, has no respect for international institutions. He is leading the United States in a continuation of its movement away from an international public order to an America first. I will do what I want, where I want. Of course, it's outrageous that the criminals would be welcome to the White House, and that the judges of the International Court themselves are being sanctioned with money and with denial of visas. But the second message that he is taking is also towards the United States itself. Ordinarily, such a measure would be passed by the Congress, first by the House of Representatives and then the Senate. But for the last 2 weeks, President Trump has been totally ignoring Congress, even though he has a majority in both the House of Representatives and the Senate. He has preferred to act on his own through executive orders that really push the limits of the executive office. Ordinarily, there are three checks and balances between the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judiciary. And Trump would rather have just one branch, the executive branch, and himself as its head, carrying out all the policies he chooses.
Jonathan, will these sanctions actually affect the work of the ICC or even the arrest warrants that are out for Benjamin Netanyahu and Gallant, his former defense minister?
Not in the least bit, not in the least bit. Yeah. However, we must understand that international law operates by the cooperation of the different countries. The International Criminal Court doesn't have a police force. It requires the different countries to support it, to enforce its rulings, to arrest and deliver the criminals to its courts. If the countries of the world fail to do so, that reduces the effectiveness of the court. So far, however, the vast majority of the countries, including the European countries, have said that they will respect their obligations under the Rome Statute, and they will respect the decisions and the warrants issued by the ICC. The United States really stands almost alone with Israel in trying to not only avoid but to fight against the international courts.
The Council on American Islamic Relations released a statement saying the executive order is, and I quote here, a desperate tactic to intimidate those who uphold international law and seek accountability for Israeli war crimes in Gaza. Would you agree with that statement in the sense that this is an intimidation tactic by Donald Trump, the leader of a country that many would argue is the most powerful in the world?
It is intended to intimidate and also to denigrate the effectiveness of the court. You must realize also that the United States itself is complicit in this genocide. The United States provided both the weapons and the political shelter to enable this activity to take place. The statements of Trump himself calling for the transfer of the population and for his takeover of Gaza themselves potentially also violate international law. So yes, this action by Trump is a real serious problem for international law.
Thank you very much for your analysis, Jonathan Kuttab, an international law attorney, talking to us there about that executive order by Donald Trump to impose sanctions on the ICC.